Hello everyone. Today we are going to discuss interrupt. How interrupt differs from polling, that also we are going to discuss. Apart from that, what are the various interrupts available with microcontroller 8051, that also we are going to discuss. How to set the priority of interrupt, that also we are going to discuss. Let us see one by one. What is interrupt? An interrupt is an external or internal event that interrupts the microcontroller to inform it that a device needs its service. Particularly, a microcontroller can serve several devices by two ways. One is interrupt, another is polling. So whenever interrupt comes into picture, we know that whenever any device needs its service, the device notifies the microcontroller by sending it an interrupt signal. Upon receiving an interrupt signal, the microcontroller interrupts whatever it is doing and serves the particular device. The program which is associated with the interrupt is called interrupt service routine or interrupt handler. So what is polling? Polling is nothing but the microcontroller continuously monitors the status of a given device. When the condition met, it performs the service. That means continuously you have to monitor. Whenever that specific condition satisfies, then only you will perform that task. After that, particularly in polling, after that it moves on to monitor the next device until everyone is serviced. That means when the condition met, it performs the service. Once one service completed, it moves to the next part. So in a single line, you can say that polling can monitor the status of several devices and serve each of them as certain conditions are met. For example, particularly JNB TF, target. So JNB means jump to target if bit equal to 0. So jump to target if bit equal to 0. Which bit? This bit. Timer flag. Target means this is your target. Whatever level is there, that particular to that level you are going to jump. So JNB, jump if bit equal to 0. Timer flag. As long as this timer flag is equal to 0, till that point this is going to jump. Once this TF flag is raised to 1 or equal to 1, at that point it will come out of this loop. So till that point, microcontroller has to wait. So we can say that polling method is not efficient since it wastes much of the microcontroller's time by polling device that do not need service. So as long as this loop is not complete, we have to wait till that time. So advantage of interrupt is that the microcontroller can serve many devices, not all at the same time, though not all at the same time, but it can serve many devices based on the priority. Each device can get the attention of the microcontroller based on the assigned priority. That we will see very soon. What are the priority? How to set a low priority interrupt over an high priority interrupt, means how to give attention a low priority interrupt over an high priority one, that also we are going to discuss. For the polling method, it is not possible to assign priority since it checks all device in a round robin fashion. That means in a cyclic way, it moves. It gives attention to all device, whether it is there or not, but it will definitely search out for the condition. Once that condition is satisfied, it goes to perform that particular service. So the microcontroller can also ignore or mask a device request for service using interrupt, but this is not possible for polling method. Using polling method, you cannot mask or unmask a particular device, but using interrupt, you can mask or unmask a particular device for a particular service. So for every interrupt, there must be an interrupt service routine or interrupt handler. When an interrupt is invoked, the microcontroller runs the interrupt service routine or ISR. For every interrupt, there is a fixed location in memory that holds the address of its interrupt service routine. That means that fixed location called as, particularly that fixed location, we can say that interrupt vector table. The group of memory locations set aside to hold the address of this ISR or interrupt service routine is called interrupt vector table. Upon activation of an interrupt, the microcontroller goes through the following steps. So there in your exam, there may be a question, what are the steps required for activation of an interrupt? Or after activation of an interrupt, what are the steps that to be followed by a microcontroller? So this is a 4-mark question or maybe a 6-mark question. If certain example you have to explain. Basically, it is a 4-mark question. So what are the steps? It finishes the instruction. It is executing, means microcontroller finishes the instruction it is currently executing and saves the address of the next instruction on the stack. That means it saves the address on the stack. It also saves the current status of all the interrupts internally. That means whatever status of interrupts, if it is serving certain interrupt means currently, that status also save internally. It jumps to a fixed location in memory called interrupt vector table. After saving the particular means address of the instruction, current instruction or status of interrupts, it jumps to a fixed location in memory called interrupt vector table that holds the address of interrupt service routine. Next step is that the microcontroller gets the address of the interrupt service routine from the interrupt vector table and jumps to it. We'll definitely going to explain this interrupt service routine and how it jumps to a particular location, that we'll see very soon taking an example. So what is the meaning of this? The microcontroller gets the address of the interrupt service routine from the interrupt vector table and jumps to it. It starts to execute the interrupt service subroutine until it reaches the last instruction of the subroutine, which is RETI. RETI means return from interrupt. That means specifically in interrupt subroutine, we will at the end we will specify RETI instead of RET. We'll see by example, we'll see what is the difference between RETI and RET. People may ask that why we cannot put RET at the end of the subroutine, but there are some definite answer lies over it. We'll discuss that thing also. Upon executing the RETI instruction, the microcontroller returns to the place where it was interrupted. That means after executing the RETI instruction, microcontroller comes back to its original position. And using this RETI instruction means whatever flags are there, if certain flags are there, that flags getting clear. But in case of RET, those flags are not clear automatically. Rather, we have to clear those flags. Any flags if involved in the program, that flags we have to manually clear. But using this RETI instruction, if any flags are involved, those are automatically clear. So we'll see it very soon. So upon executing the RETI instruction, the microcontroller returns to the place where it was interrupted. First, it gets the program counter address from the stack by popping the top 2 bytes of the stack into the program counter. First, it gets the program counter address from the stack by popping the top 2 bytes of the stack into the program counter. Then it starts to execute from that address. That means these are the 5 steps you have to cover upon activation of an interrupt. Once you get an interrupt, then you have to follow these 5 steps. You have to first store the address in the program counter on the stack, address of the next instruction on the stack. Then you have to save the current status internally. Then you have to jump to the fixed location in a memory called interrupt vector table. Then you have to execute that subroutine. Then at the subroutine, you have to write RETI. Executing the RETI, microcontroller will return back to its original position, gets the program counter address from the stack by popping the top 2 bytes of the stack into the program counter. So this is a 4-mark question. You have to see it. Then what are the types of interrupts? 6 interrupts. There is a question, if a question arises like this, what are the types of interrupt? Write the corresponding memory location address. That means interrupt vector table address. You have to write. So what are the interrupts? 6 interrupts are there. One is reset or power of reset. So this is one interrupt which is taking 3 bytes. Then 2 interrupts are set aside for the timer, that is for timer 0 and for timer 1. Both are 8-bit wide. 2 interrupts are set aside for hardware external interrupt, that is INT0 or INT1, which are associated with pin number 3.2 and 3.3. And last one is serial communication interrupt. Actually, in serial communication interrupt, we have a single interrupt, but particularly we can say that in case of a serial communication interrupt, 2 flags are associated. Serial communication interrupt, we will see it. let us take this interrupt vector table, then I will come to this serial communication interrupt. So this reset interrupt takes 0, 0, 0 location, means is the beginning location, starting location. Then external hardware interrupt INT0, it starts from 0003. Why? Now this particular reset or interrupt location is a 3 byte interrupt. That's why it takes from 000 to 002, means 000, 001, 002. So next location is 003. Then it starts from 003. Then that means external hardware interrupt INT0 is a 8-bit interrupt. That's why it will move up to 000A, 000A, 8 location, means it cover up 8 byte. Similarly, if it is move up to 00A, then next location comes as 00B. Then this is timer 0. Timer 0 also 8-bit wide. That's why it moves up to 0012. Then external hardware interrupt INT1. This location is 0013 because last location is 00 up to 0012. After that 0013. Then this is also 8-bit wide. That's why it is 001A. Up to 001A it will move. Its location is 0013 to 001A. After that timer 1, 001B to 0022, like this. So last one is serial communication interrupt or RI and TI flag. Both with serial communication interrupt, actually with serial communication interrupt, two flags are associated, that is RI flag and TI flag. RI flag indicates that a byte has been received and is available for reading in the input buffer. RI flag indicates that a byte has been received and is available for reading in the input buffer. But TI flag indicates that a previous byte has been sent successfully and a new byte can be written to the serial buffer or serial port. So these two flags are associated with serial communication. Whenever we'll discuss serial communication entirely, at that part we'll discuss the entire thing serial one by one. So upon reset, all interrupts are disabled, meaning that none will be responded to by the microcontroller if they are activated. That means upon reset, by default, upon reset, all interrupts are disabled. So to make it enable, we have to use a particular register. That register is called as interrupt enable register. But within that interrupt enable register, a bit is particularly called as global enable bit. Global enable bit. That global enable bit EA actually responsible for enabling the entire bits, which is very crucial. Why this particular means upon reset all interrupts are disabled, meaning that none will be responded to by the microcontroller, and we have to enable it. Why it is required? Because sometimes microcontroller doing certain important aspect or crucial thing. Within that meantime, if we'll provide certain interrupt, then that crucial task breaks. In order to do this thing, we can make it either disable or enable. So if we'll make the interrupt disable, even if we will try to interrupt the microcontroller, no interrupt will be effective. So unless and otherwise this global enable bit will be activated, we'll see very soon. Yes, here. This global enable bit, unless and otherwise this particular bit is equal to 1, till that point these bits has no meaning. Even if you are trying to activate any interrupt, none will be come into effective stage. So if a certain thing, crucial thing are particularly doing by a microcontroller, we can make it disable. That means even if some interrupts will be there, nothing, no interrupt will break that particular task. So what is the role of this interrupt enable register? This is also a 4-mark question. Explain the role of interrupt enable register and discuss all the bits. So this is a 8-bit wide. So this is EX0, ET0, EX1, ET1, ES, ET2 and EA. EA is the main bit or global bit. We can say that it disable all the interrupts. ET2 is the enables or disable timer 2 overflow or capture interrupt. Then ES, this enable or disable the serial port interrupt. ET1, this enable or disable timer 1 overflow interrupt. EX1, enable or disable external interrupt 1. ET0, enable or disable timer 0 overflow interrupt. EX0, enable or disable external interrupt 0. So these are the role of individual bits. So to enable an interrupt, we take the following step. Bit D7 of the IE register EA must be set to high to allow the rest of the register to take effect. That thing we have already discussed. So if EA equal to 1, interrupts are enabled, will be responded to if their corresponding bit in the IE are high. If EA equal to 0, no interrupt will be responded to even if the associated bit in the IE register are high. That means if this is equal to 1, whichever bit is high, accordingly that particular means bit will be activated, whether it is timer 1, whether it is timer 0, whether it is external interrupt 1 or any other or serial communication port bit. All these things will come into picture. So let us take this example 11.1. Let us, now it is visible perhaps. So the instruction to enable the serial interrupt, timer 0 interrupt and external hardware interrupt. EX1 means this is a single thing, means single instruction you have to do at a time. And disable the timer 0 interrupt, this is next one. And so how to disable all the interrupt with a single instruction. So move IE, 100100100B. That means this IE interrupt enable register, particularly this is IE. So just put this value at the corresponding bit position. 1 means it will enable the entire bits. Then this particular thing, timer 0 external 1 bit enable serial bit, means corresponding bit value if it is high, accordingly we can say that this is the particular value corresponding to serial port bit, timer 0 bit and external hardware interrupt 1 bit. External hardware interrupt 1 bit particularly. That means if we will transfer this value to IE register, this will be activated. Another way to perform the same manipulation is that we can go individually. IE7 set B, IE7 means this one, IE4 means this one, IE1 means particularly this one, IE2 means this one, means individually enable serial interrupt, enable timer 0 interrupt, enable external hardware interrupt. Next question is disable mask the timer 0 interrupt. That means clear IE1. IE1 related to timer 0. So mask means disable it. So anyway, question may arise, mask the timer 0 interrupt. That means you have to clear, or disable the timer 0 interrupt. That means clear timer 0, or enable that particular timer 0. That means set B IE1, or unmask particularly timer 0. That means set B IE1. That means mask means disable, unmask means enable. Disable all the interrupts. Disable all the interrupts means IE7, particularly this bit you have to make it 0. That is clear IE7. So with this I am concluding this session. After certain time I will start the next session. Thank you.